Podcast. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having a wonderful day. Um, but today I would like to, talk about something. Um, the topic is going to be on: Did Jesus abolish the law, or did Christianity rewrite him? That's something that's been debated over the last several hundred years. Um, this viewpoint is more biblical. Um, I'm not trying to make this fit into the culture. I'm just trying to use the Bible and use what Jesus said and what the Old Testament said. So let's get this started. So, ready? So I want to ask you a question that your church probably doesn't want to ask or want you to ask. So, did Jesus do away with the law? Think about that. Or did Christianity do that after him? Because if you've spent any time actually reading the Bible, as I did, right? Not just listening to sermons on Sunday morning or Wednesday evening, but actually reading the Bible, as I did. You probably noticed something uncomfortable. Jesus says one thing about the law, Apostle Paul says another thing. And the church insists they somehow mean the same thing, but they don't. Tonight, we're not going to smooth over that tension. We're going to sit with it. We're going to read the text honestly. And we're going to ask the question institutions avoid. Did Jesus abolish the law? Did he? Now, what did Jesus actually say? You may ask yourself, what did he say? Well, Matthew chapter 5, the Sermon on the Mount, this is not obscure material. This is core Jesus teaching. Hear what he says. This is what Jesus said. Do not think I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill them. But truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen, where any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Then he doubles down. Anyone who relaxes one of these least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. This is not subtle. This is not vague. That's not Jesus hinting. Hey guys, I'm about to cancel all of this, right? So, no. In fact, it's the opposite. Jesus epically anticipates people accusing him of abolishing the law. And he primitively says, don't think that. Some right out of the gate, we have a problem. So right out of the gate, we have a problem, right? Because most modern Christianity teaches that Jesus did abolish the law, which he did not. I mean, you read scripture, it's clear, right? Now, here's something churches rarely explain. When Jesus says the law, he's not talking about vague moral principles. He's talking about the Torah. Torah includes Sabbath laws, dietary laws, circumcision, purity codes, festival observations, civil and religious commands. So Jesus did not do away with the law, and that includes over 600 commandments. And Jesus is speaking as a Jew to Jews within Judaism. This is no Christianity yet. This is no New Testament yet. This is no concept of Gentile church doctrine yet. Jesus is not founding a new religion, as your pastor may think and teach you. He is operating inside Jewish covenant theology, right? So I'll give you a minute to let this soak in while I take a drink. So when he says he did not come to abolish the law, his audience would have heard that very plainly. God's covenant with Israel still stands. Now the word fulfill does not mean end. This is where a lot of theology sleight of hand happens. Christians say often, when Jesus fulfilled the law, says Jesus fulfilled the law, so now it's over. That sounds neat, it sounds clean, it sounds convenient, right? But it's not how it works. The Greek word translated fulfills, piro. In Jewish usage, piro means to bring to full expression, to live out, to correctly embody, to interpret rightly. Oh, it's cracking me up. It does not mean cancel, discard, terminate, abolish. If Jesus meant I came to end the law, he had words for that. He emphatically says he did not come to do that. So when churches say Jesus fulfilled it so we don't have to keep it, they're importing meaning that isn't in the text. That interpretation comes later, much later. So they say follow Jesus, right? I heard that a lot when I was a Christian. Follow Jesus, keep your eyes on Jesus. Then at one point you're wondering, do I follow Jesus in the Gospels or do I follow Paul? Because they're constantly contradicting themselves. But most people follow Paul. You don't have to worry about that, right? They don't like this Jesus character in the New Testament. They get to pick and choose. Now enter Paul, Apostle Paul. Now this is where the story shifts. Because while Jesus teaches Torah observance, Paul teaches something very different. Paul says you are not under the law, but under grace. Christ is the end of the law. The law was a tutor until Christ came. That's what Paul is teaching. Paul is not addressing Torah observant Jews living in Palestine. Paul is addressing Gentiles, Greeks, Romans, and non-Jews who have zero cultural connection to the Jewish law. And here's the key tension. Gentiles were never going to keep the Torah. They weren't going to be circumcised. You kidding? They weren't going to keep kosher. Yeah, right. They weren't going to observe Jewish feast days. No way. So Christianity faced crossroads. Either require Gentiles to become Jewish, or redefine Jesus in a way that removes Torah obligations. So Paul chooses option 2, and that's where we are today with Christianity. They follow Paul. They really don't follow Jesus and the Gospels. Oh, this is funny. I'm sorry. The Jerusalem church, they disagree. This wasn't hypothetical. The New Testament itself records arguments over this. James, Jesus' brother, leads the Jerusalem church. Peter struggles with Gentile inclusion. Paul argues fiercely against acquired Torah observance. These are not minor disagreements. This is a theological power struggle. And over time, Paul's version wins. Not because it was closer to Jesus, but because it scaled better, right? You can build an empire with Paul. You cannot build an empire requiring observance. It's kind of deep, right? What's the Hebrew Bible actually says about the law? What does the Hebrew Bible say about the law? Let's check. Let's zoom out even further. In the Hebrew Bible, the law is never presented as universal salvation. It is national, covenantal, land-based. For example, Deuteronomy says, keeping the law leads to long life, prosperity in the land, and communal stability. It does not say, keep this or burn forever and in hell. That framework doesn't exist yet. The law was never meant to save the world. It was meant to shape Israel. So when Christianity universalizes the law, then abolishes it, then replaces it with belief requirements that already left the original framework entirely. So, question, did Jesus change God's mind? Think about that. This is where theology starts to crack. If God gave the law, Jesus says he didn't abolish it. Paul says it's no longer binding. The church says Jesus fulfilled and ended it. Then someone changed something. Either God changed his covenant, Jesus contradicted himself, Paul reinterpreted Jesus, or the church papered over a real disagreement. Historically, the last option fits best. Now, why does this matter? This isn't just academic. Because once you see this pattern, you start seeing it everywhere. Slavery defended, then condemned. Segregation preached, then repented of. Woman silenced, then slowly included. LGBTQ people condemned, then re-debated. Each time the church claims God never changed, behold, he's always changing every day. We have, they say, 40,000 different Christian denominations worldwide. But history says otherwise. What actually changes is interpretation, shaped by culture, power, survival, error, and the laws of the land. Ask, these are the honest take. Here's the most honest conclusion with apologetics. Jesus did not teach the abomination of the law. Paul reframed Jesus for a Gentile world. Christianity chooses Paul's framework, and later theology retroactively harmonized the contradiction. That doesn't make Jesus fake. It makes Christianity human. Although I am an atheist, I no longer do believe the Bible is legit. But based on the Bible in Hebrew, it was written in Hebrew, and the historical and the literature and all that stuff, this is legit here, okay? It makes Christianity human. And once you allow yourself to see that, the Bible stops being a rule book dropped from the sky. It starts looking like what it actually is. A library of voices, disagreements, evolutions, and power struggles. I'm going to wrap it up here. If you think for a second. If you ever felt like something didn't add up in the Bible, if you ever been told, don't question this, if you ever read Jesus and thought, that doesn't sound like church, you're not crazy. You're paying attention, you're aware, you're asking questions, which you should be. But in our next episode, we're going to talk about Jesus versus Paul, side by side, verse by verse. Because once you actually compare them, there's no going back. Well, this is the Ancient Echoes podcast. Thanks for listening. May you have a good night. And if you like what you heard, click like on our posts and subscribe to our podcasts. And again, my name is Jerica Canning.